Hello everyone, I am back on a diet because I had a lot of fun over the last year getting fat and pushing my squat numbers up, but frankly I don't feel, I feel gross and the old blood pressure seems to be ticking up, so it is time to clean things up a little bit. I did do a mini diet for educational purposes last year, and I learned a couple of things because that was just a flat, straight up, calorie deficit diet. Here's what I get to eat every day. It's less than maintenance, and you lose weight. And what I discovered was because my diet, I'm basically on or off when it comes to dieting. And so if I wanted to, do normal videos and also more importantly have some meals with my family every week, I needed to not do that. So I'm back on my old friend and enemy, the Ultimate Diet 2.0 by Lyle McDonald, which is a diet. It's kind of a softened version of it, of what I adapted for middle-aged men. So what is this? It's an adaptation of some old Dan Duchaine ideas, but it's basically a carb cycling diet, which means half the week I will be completely wringing myself dry. I will be doing very low calories, essentially no carbs, and long high rep, torturous workouts. It's horrible. It's absolutely terrible. But the upshot is, then I get to carb load, and then I got to, for the second half of the week, and then I got a little bit of time to recover from the onslaught I put my body through in the first half of the week, while also kind of eating normally. So I will have a few days where I get to have meals with my family as normal, and a few days in which I will get to record these little videos as normal. So hopefully there will be no disruption to normal services while I slowly take off a pound and a half a week or so. Anyhow, let's dig into the menu for today, which is cognac. And I wanted to do regions that I don't get to do very often because there isn't a lot of them out there. We're going to do the Borderies, which is my region. I love Borderies Cognac. And we're going to do the Bois. So Borderies is right outside of the city of Cognac itself. It's sort of kind of around and north of the city. It tends to be very floral, very, I guess the word is pretty. They're very, very pretty. And the Bois, by contrast, is you have these kind of circles. So you have, Borderies, Grand Champagne, Petit Champagne, kind of in the center around the city. And you have the outer kind of ring, which is the Bois. And then you have the ring even outside of that, which is the Bois. And you have kind of mostly in the northwest, the Bois Ordinaire. I would love to taste more Bois Ordinaire as well, but they're even harder to come by. So the Bois is kind of that outer ring that is even less regarded than the Bois, who's already a step down from kind of the more inner territories. But there are some interesting options coming from there these days. I thought it would be fun to taste through them alongside some bottlings from my beloved Borderies. All right, that's enough yapping on my part. Let's finish getting these poured. So we got, at the core of this, 2 bottlings from Vallein Tercinier, sort of a very well-regarded bottler over there. I have got a Giboin, which we've reviewed in the past. I love Giboin. Also has some Bois taste vineyards, but this is their Borderie stuff. And this is a bottling of Bois from Amateur Spirit. These are the guys who did the Zind Humbrecht bottling. That was one of my favorite bottlings of last year. So it's Bois. It's not, so it's one of the lesser regarded cognac territories, but these guys bottled it. And that makes me very curious. It's not even that expensive. I don't know if you can still get a hold of this. It might be a pain, but I want to try it. Okay, let's get started. So we got Bois, 2 Borderies, and then another Bois. And we're just going up in strength. Starting off, Vallein Tercinier Bois Cask 205 from 1990. This was bottled in 2021 for 31 years of age. And it is 42.9% alcohol by volume. On the nose. Fruity, desserty, rich. I am getting dried strawberries, like Special K strawberries. I feel like I've been using that note too much, but it's in there. Dried strawberry, but almost like a little bit of a strawberry syrup thing, like a strawberry IHOP syrup. Raisinets, so chocolate raisins. Caramel. More dried fruit, though. There's some figs. There's some prunes. We're not just sticking to like the caramel raisin note, which is just so classically cognac. A little bit of English breakfast tea. There's even a light, I want to say like grassiness, but that's not what this is. It's almost more like dried stems, like, grape stems that you've kind of left out in the sun to kind of just dry them out and then you smell it. Something like that. Green, but not fresh green, like aged, old, dried green. White pepper. A little bit of allspice. And a nice little ray of citrus kind of cutting through some of that richness. There's a little bit of orange peel. Just a little spritz of lime. Yeah, nice. I was expecting from Bois something on the richer side, and this, it's desserty, it's fruity, but it also has a freshness to it, which is something I look for in my Southwest French brandies. Oh, now there's some kind of cardamom sugar kind of stuff cutting through. Cool. On the palate. This is just proof positive that it's not the proof. This is 42.9. It's not the proof, it's how you get there. I'd have to double check on this. In fact, I have the windows open. I will double check on this because why not? I will have to, yeah. I think this is a Brut de Fou. It tastes like, if this was reduced, it was not reduced by much. Like, you can just tell. It got to the strength, honestly, in a wet cellar, because it has tremendous mouth presence. Not tremendous is overstating it. It has really good mouth presence. Overstewed tea, English breakfast tea. Black pepper, a touch of like old musty dirt, but good. There's some rose water in this actually, a little touch of rose. Certainly some fig, a little bit of that dried strawberry thing, but it's much less fruity, much more kind of serious, tannin-driven, structured on the palate. No, I'm wrong. The fruit is there. It's just up front. It doesn't really hold on, but you get this beautiful flash of dried strawberry, dried apricot, a little bit of peach, fig up front, and then just waves of tea, that rose-watery thing, serious tannins. I mean, this is 31 years old going on like 40. I mean, 31 is not young by any standard, but it tastes older than that. A little bit of raisinets creeping through now. A little bit. I like this a lot. This is very much in some ways like an Armagnac drinker's cognac, because it gets so woody and dry, but balanced. It keeps the balance. So woody and dry, but balanced on the back end. And I feel like Armagnac drinkers could get into this. I'm going to give this a squirt of water. Like half a squirt of water, because it's not going to take a full squirt. And we shall move on to the first of these Borderies bottlings. This is a Giboin 2002 from the Borderies. And, you didn't see that. Do I have anything special to say about this? Nope. 43.4%. This is by far the least expensive bottle here. It's on Cognac Expert and a couple of other places, I think. I am seeing $72 for this. 20-plus-year-old Borderies Cognac. This one, I do believe, had some water added to it. Has been taken down. Which, what are they going to do? It's $72. Interesting. I'm looking for the kind of floral madness that I expect from Borderies. I'm not really getting that. I mean, it smells more classically cognac than the Bois in some ways. So, caramel raisin. No, there's some flowers creeping through them. There's some fresh flowers. Lemon peel. Touch of fig, white pepper, cinnamon stick, I guess. Like, use cinnamon stick that you brewed some hot toddy with it the night before, and then you took it off and you left it on the counter. But it still smells like cinnamon. A little bit of milk tea. This is not like super premium milk tea. This is like you went to a tiny little cafe in Chinatown. You got some for like $1.50. It's that kind of milk tea, but nice. A little touch of like baking molasses. Not blackstrap. This is the lighter stuff. That's most of what I'm getting. Maybe a little nutmeg. Okay, on the palate. Whew. So it doesn't have quite the same mouth presence as the Tercinier Bois. It's not as expensive though. What this does have is a heck of a lot of spicy character. This is a spicy boy. But it's like a floral spicy boy. So it's like, you went to a clump of wildflowers and for some reason you just wanted to put them in your mouth. But what you didn't realize was the wildflowers had been covered with a little bit of like a Taubanjan or something, some Sichuan spice. And so you're getting the flowers, but you're also getting some spiciness. That's fun. Milk tea again. Caramel raisin, little fig, kind of like some used coffee grinds. Yeah, let's go with that. Used coffee grinds. But that kind of like spicy floral thing is really dominating on this. I gotta be honest, I adored that, 97 Giboin I reviewed a couple of years ago. This is not at that level. It's nice. It's definitely giving me the flowers hit that I wanted, but it's not my favorite expression of the region that I've ever had. There's some citrus on this as well. Orange peel, lemon peel. It's kind of edgy and fun. This is another one where I'm curious to see what water does. I could see going either way. So we're going to add, like a couple drops of this. I wouldn't be surprised if this took less water than the first Bois because it was already kind of proofed down a little bit, and you can tell. All right. Moving on to the second Borderies. This is also a Vallein Tercinier, 1995. Borderies Cask 149, 48.7%. And this one, I am pretty sure, is a Brut de Fou. Yep, this is a Brut de Fou. And you can still buy it. Interesting. So I go to these looking for my beloved bouquet of flowers. That is what I want from Borderies. And these two are not really providing that on the nose. There's a little bit there, but it's on the nose. This is reminding me more of like Petit Champagne than Borderies, and that's okay. There's a couple of kind of black pepper, whole black peppers in this, but a lot of it is soft caramel raisin, dried peach, orange peel. I mean, there's florals there, but they're very soft. And they're just kind of adding a little bit of color. A little bit of a damp cellar kind of character to this. Like musty wood, but nice. Also kind of a milk tea character on this as well, but it's more like, higher octane bubble tea this time. Like you went to Tiger Sugar and you got the one with the oil slick of black sugary stuff on the side. It smells more like that. And that's most of what's going on here. Yeah, it's nice. It doesn't smell like a powerhouse. I mean, it smells like the softer side of cognac, but it's more like the Petit Champagne softer side of cognac than Borderies, if that makes sense. It's nice. There's a little marmalade in there, kind of adding to the oranginess. Okay, I'm not mad on the palate. There we go. There's my bouquet of flowers. Oh, I love this style. I have a thing for the style. I think I've said it before. I will say it again. If you can throw flowers at me on the palate and keep them in balance, don't get them out of the control, don't bury them, but keep them prominent but in balance. Like, you've just made a spirit that I'm going to really like. That's just one of my things. And here, they nail it. Like, this is pretty. I mean, I can probably poke holes on other things this is doing, but it's nailing the flowers thing. It's not perfection by any means, but it's very good Borderies. Arrives on caramel, like, I don't know, extra dried peach, like peach chips, if that exists. Peach and apricot chips, if you will. There's a little bit of a Moscato, like a Moscato d'Asti thing on the front end. Like perfumey grape. A little bit of that, raisin, fig. And then you get to the middle, and most of that kind of holds on because this kind of like nice floral explosion. Yeah. You get your used coffee grinds, milk tea, tiger sugar milk tea, musty wood, big, aggressive tannins on the back end. But again, in balance. This is dry, but like nothing is kind of like throwing this off at all. Very peppery, very dry. I mean, it's not a huge monster of a cognac. We're not talking Grand Champagne here. This is not that kind of thing, but this is a middleweight, but it's a middleweight whose left cross is going to put you down for the count. It's like that. Terrific. The more I drink of this, the more I like it. I want more for the nose. But yeah, this is a very good cognac. I would not mind owning this. If I can still get it. Can I still get it? Yes, I can still get it. Ooh, okay. Is that enough water? It's borderline, so I'm gonna leave it alone. And last up, very possibly the biggest reason, honestly, why I wanted to do this lineup. A humble Bois from Prenellerie, whatever. But it's an 83, and it is, 41, 42, well, 40, 41, 42 years old. I will put it down below. 49.5% and bottled by Amateur Spirit, the folks who did the ZH I loved last year. So this, I am very curious about this. Interesting. There's almost like an old bourbon thing going on with this nose. like a dried cherry kind of thing happening. Dried cherry and like, musty Kentucky, bourbon cellar kind of thing happening, on this, which I was not expecting. Now it's starting to throw a little bit of not really flower. It's more like almost a cologne note. I mean, in some ways, this puts me in mind of like older wild turkeys that I've had. It has a little bit of that energy. White pepper. No. Here come the raisins. Kind of fighting it out with the dried cherry, I guess. More cologne, and now actually some actual flowers. Cinnamon, definitely. Black tea, but it's more like used black tea leaves. It feels old. It feels musty. It feels tertiary, as we say. But it's also a pretty, especially compared to the last one and also the first bottling, the first glass on the table, a little bit reserved on the nose. So far. But that dried cherry note is really fun. It's not really something I associate with cognac at all, so I'm eager to see what this does on the palate. Yeah. Bourbon fans who are tired of paying, $200+ for reasonably aged bourbons with this kind of like old, musty, woody character, come on into the room. This is your thing. Wow. Oh, yeah. Dried cherry, cologne. But also that wildflower thing. A little bit of like a... What is that? It's not cayenne. It's almost like a curry powder kind of thing. Curry powder. Coffee dregs. Like, hotel room... This is like a coffee mug that's been sitting on the burner for like 2 hours, and there's just some burned coffee stuff in the bottom. There's a little bit of that going on, but also like used tea leaves. Cinnamon, a little bit of cardamom, a little bit of ginger too. Touch of vanilla. Not a ton of vanilla. I mean, if you just ramped up the vanilla a little bit, like this, like I would be willing to call this a bourbon in a blind tasting. I really would. That's how it's presenting to me. Really delicious. Very, very like uncognac in a good way. Good mouth presence with maybe the exception of the finish. Because there's a lot of tannins on this. There's a lot of grippy, woody, aggressive, old bourbon-ish tannins on this. But a lot of the other elements, a lot of the fruit and stuff, kind of pulls away much, much faster than the other stuff. It's still very good, though. Like, this is high 80s at minimum. And I really want to see what it does with water. So we're going to give this a squirt. Maybe like a squirt and a half, really. And we'll see what happens. All right, let us give these a second run through. Back to the Tercinier, Bois. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is not going to win the lineup. It really isn't. I don't think it has the power for it, but for what it is, like, this is such a wonderful mixture of, like, decadent, desserty cognac at its best that still manages to smell fresh and bright and drinkable at the height of summer. On an ice cube, maybe. Yeah, I'm getting fruit cake on this. There's a little bit of floral coming through now. It was before, too, but now it gets taked up a little bit. But we're not losing those little hints of citrus, those little hints of, like, orange, lime. Even some melon coming through. Interesting. On the palate. I don't think they like the water very much, at least in the palate. The nose is maybe just a tenth of a notch better with water, but the palate is kind of, first of all, the mouth length has kind of gotten condensed a little bit. Most of what's happening in this is now happening at the front of my mouth, which wasn't a problem before. This was kind of getting back into my tonsils a little bit before I added water. So that's a little bit annoying. It's also brought out the tannins a little bit. It's still not throwing it off too much, but it's bringing out the tannins a little bit, and yeah, I like this better on the palate before I added water. So what do I score this? It's like 85, 86 territory. I don't know where to score this. I don't think I can get to an 86. I don't think it, even without water, I don't think it had quite, it was quite there. I'll call it an 85. I was flirting with like an 85 minus, but no, it's a little bit better than that. Even with water, it's a little bit better than that. So 85 points flat for the VT Bois. Let's move on to the Giboin. On the nose. That's interesting. Okay, so now there's a little bit more floral coming out, but there's also like a phenyl aniseed-y thing coming out as well. So it's like aniseed flowers, if that makes sense. Maybe a hint of, I don't know why I would be getting this in cognac, but like a little bit of like a sea breeze briny touch. I mean, cognac is a port city, right? So it's not. I mean, the Atlantic is right there, but somehow I never really gotten that before. But it's here. Okay, on the palate. Dang it. This is the second one in a row where it feels like water just kind of flattened. I mean, it has different problems with the water, but it also didn't like the water very much. Brings out some tannins, and it flattens out the florals, which makes me mad. Yeah. Tannic, peppery. It's got the kind of Tobanjan mala spice thing from before, but now it's lost a lot of what was kind of balancing it off and making this more of a balanced palate. Let me try the Bois again. I think I like the Bois better. By a touch. This one I will give like an 85 minus. Neither of these liked water, but I'll bump this one down. 85 minus for the Giboin 2002, which is just kind of, it makes me sad because I love this house, and I do love the price point. I definitely love the region, but this is not doing it for me. 85 minus. Still good, but these guys can do better. VT 95 Borderies on the nose. So what I was hoping for with this one was that water would bring the flowers out a little bit more. Because it's Borderies, that's what I want, damn it. And it is a little bit. Just a nudge, just a tinge, a little bit more floral coming out. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, mostly smells the same as it did before. Which is not bad. I mean, it smells like a nice, petite champagne cognac leaning in a more floral direction. And that's okay. I don't mind that. On the palate, gains a bit more flower power. Gains a little bit more spice as well. But the fruit is still there. The fruit and yummy stuff up front is still there to kind of balance everything off. I like this. I do like this a lot. I don't know if it's going to topple the bourbony awesomeness of the Prenellerie, if that's how it's pronounced, but I do like this. High 80s. Can I get to an 88? Can I get to an... I'm feeling nice today, and I really like this bottling. I'm going to give this an 88. It's... It's on the softer side of an 88, because I really wish like the fruit and all the other kind of desserty, delicious-y elements stuck around just a little bit longer. I want them around just a little bit longer, but yeah, I mean, this is 88 territory, so we're going to call it that. Call it what it is. And yeah. On to the amateur spirits effort. Oh, yeah. Grand old bourbon is what this smells like. It does. There's a little bit of like a, like an old Tic Tac kind of thing happening. There's like an old breath mint, maybe an Altoid, but not super strong and overwhelming. It's just kind of there on the palate, on the nose. I'm sorry. But we are firmly in. If there were more vanilla, if there was a little bit more vanilla and like outright barrel char, I would say old bourbon in a blind, no question. This is a little bit more elegant, restrained, floral, Altoidy, but we're in that territory. This is super good. On the palate, it's less bourbony with water. You kind of lose a little bit of... It lightens up, is basically what happens. It loses a little bit of that dried cherry, aggressive wittiness. Most of the rest of these kind of got heavier with water. Not this. This one lightens up, which I'm okay with. Yeah, it gets fresher. There's a little bit more of a lemon lime thing that comes out. Fresh herbs, Altoid. Not to say that the cherry is gone. It's still there. It's still, in the game. But we've moved to more of a... I don't know. Even with the changes, it's still not throwing, classic, cognac indications at me. This is kind of its own thing. It's very good, though. Terrific mouth presence. Very complex. Lots of power to this, but it's different kind of power than I usually think of cognac having. I can't find a 90 in this. I will give it an 89 though. 89 points for this really lovely offering from the Amateur Spirits folks. And that is your lineup. So I think this might go up just in order of price. I have to double check, but at the bottom, which makes me very sad, is this. I was really hoping this would kind of come out from behind and murder everything, but no. It is the youngest, cheapest offering. It is the Giboin 2002 Borderies. 85 minus. It's lovely. Don't give it water. And then there is this Vallein Tercinier Bois. 85 points, but also don't give it water. It's better without it. Second place, the VT Borderies, which is a really good Borderies. I wish it had more of that character on the nose. I wish it was just more explodey with the flowers. I want flower power. But yeah, it's a terrific little cognac. 88 points. And the winner, your winner, is the Amateur Spirits Prenellerie, whatever, Lot 83, Bois 89. Very, very, very off type for cognac. Be wary. If you like some of those big gross prawns, this may not be your thing. But if you are willing to go on the weirder side of the region, this is terrific. 89 points. And yeah, that is the video. Oh, no. I should talk about the tariffs, shouldn't I? I've been avoiding the topics of the tariffs because, I mean, what am I going to say? I spent, the entire interregnum warning people about tariffs, and then, inauguration, no tariffs. I thought I was wrong. And they were coming, and I thought, oh no, I was right. And then they got canceled, and then I said, oh no, I guess I was wrong. And now they're on again. So I'm recording this on a Thursday before you see this. And news could have completely changed. But as I am recording this, tariffs are on again, but we're carving out exceptions. So I don't know. I don't know whether I was right or wrong or not. I don't know what the heck is going on. And I think that's kind of the point. So I'm going to say right now, if you made purchasing decisions based on, my advice at the time, and I got it right, and those decisions worked out, yeah, I'm glad it worked out. You're welcome, I guess. And if you made the wrong purchasing decisions based on my advice, I'm really sorry. I'm doing the best I can with the information that I am seeing. I still don't know exactly why we're doing this, honestly. I mean, there's a couple of theories. I used to go by theory number one, which is just the people involved in administering this stuff are on another planet, and they think that tariffs do something which they do not do. I used to think that, and I think I've left that theory behind. Another theory is just that this is just posturing for the base, except tariffs are essentially government-mandated inflation. So it's going to hurt the base of the current administration. So, you can't rule that out. I don't think they really care about anyone. But, less likely. Third possibility for why we are even doing this. There are legitimate reasons why you might want to slap tariffs down. And I've talked about that in, the Ramos video, right? But that doesn't make sense in that context. A third possible reason, which was kind of growing in popularity among Asian commenters, European commenters, that there is an end game plan to this. That there is an ask at the end of all this, and it doesn't involve fentanyl. It involves sitting all the trade partners down and basically shaking them down to make them appreciate the value of their currency, kind of universally, which is a way to get all the effects of weakening the dollar without actually weakening the dollar. So essentially kind of like a bigger, grander repeat of what happened with the Plaza Accords in 85. So this theory, I used to think maybe there was something to this theory until recently when they started announcing we're gonna tariff and we're gonna do all this stuff and then delaying it or imposing tariffs but then exceptions and so we've resolved the problem because you wouldn't do that if the idea was just to keep jacking up the pressure to the point where basically want these countries to start trashing their own currencies. So, which leads us to possibility number 4, which is this is part of the project of strip mining the country. So I invite you, if you get a little bit of time, to go watch. So there's a YouTuber named The Spiffing Brit who makes like video game exploity humor sorts of videos, where he basically bends and breaks video games for lulz. He made a video a couple of years ago on city skylines, the original, the first one, which is basically kind of like city building, city managing simulator, where he provided basically the greatest example I've ever seen for why statespeople, politicians, should never, ever, ever, ever be able to control their own investments, and why basically you should have severe limitations on private money in politics. So basically, he figured out you could build your own stock exchange in city skylines and invest in the stock exchange, and then the policies you implement can drive asset prices on the exchange up and down. And I think you can see where this is going. So he built a city devoted, mainly to agriculture. And, you could invest in the stock exchange on there and make a little bit of money by making your agricultural economy, your agricultural industry, a little bit more successful. You can make a little bit of money that way. A much faster way to make money is to sell off all your stocks and then just turn off all the utilities for the entire city, unannounced, for no reason. And everyone panics, all the stock prices plummet. You buy it up for pennies on the dollar, and then you just turn everything back on. Crisis is over. Asset prices go back up to where they were. You made a ton of money, and you can just kind of go from there. He starts figuring out that later on in the video that you can invest in healthcare services and the funeral industry, and then just kind of poison the groundwater and make a ton of money on death and sickness. It's very funny, but it's also a bit of education on the capacity of, policy choices to directly influence asset prices. And I think that is what's going on. You create a crisis in the short to medium term, and then you just buy stuff up for pennies on the dollar. You just use those cheaper prices to park your money, and then in the short to medium term, you resolve the crisis that you made, and everything's fine. This is highly illegal, but all the regulators have been fired, so whatever you can. And I think this is a much better theory for what is happening than the competing alternative theories. And so at this point, I am willing to say, not that I was wrong about the tariffs thing, but I was wrong about what it would look like. I don't think it's going to look like, tariffs because these people are crazy or because they want China to trash the yuan. I think it's going to look like them flicking the switch on and off over and over again, so they can basically, they and their friends can always sell high and buy low, and fleece the country, because that's what this is all about. That's really what this is all about. And boy, wouldn't it be nice that if we had a opposition that did anything. Anyways, talked about this at too much length. I hope. What do I hope? I hope this little channel has provided some kind of benefit for you all in your purchasing decisions, including in its relevance, in terms of it, how policy decisions have relevance to it. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what to say. Cognac good. Billionaire's bad. Thanks for watching, and cheers.